welcome back to Focus Atlanta again. I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about how to maximize your health. I'm here with Dr. Heiss. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, well, first of all, give us some tips. Are there any small ways that we could start to maximize and get to better health, get to where we want to be? Do we have any small tips?
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to get better sleep, but they don't know where to start. A lot of people are stressed, they're overworked, so they're looking to alcohol to unwind. They might have a late night snack. They're browsing their phone without realizing just how disruptive these things are to sleep. Science is showing us that it's not just the hours that you're getting, but really about the sleep quality. So some simple tips. If you want to have that glass of wine, maybe have it while you're making dinner or with dinner rather than later on at night. If you can shift that late night snack to maybe more of a dessert following dinner. Things like dimming the lights around the house in the evening, that has a big impact. Maybe consuming a warm herbal tea in the evening, that's a great tip. All these things are going to help get better sleep. And probably the biggest one is maybe try to find a book to read at night rather than, checking that social media. That's, really going to be disruptive to your sleep.
Oh, right. See, even there, those are some tips that I think that sometimes we don't even really think about. We don't assume that that glass of wine is going to hinder our sleep. But you're saying the later we have that glass, it might just be a problem in terms of not only getting to sleep, but maybe even staying asleep.
Yeah, for sure. Alcohol is one of those things that it's called what fragments your sleep. So you might fall asleep, but then what's happening is throughout the night, as you're breaking down that alcohol, it's actually disrupting both REM and deep sleep. And those are what's required to get some of the long-term health benefits of sleep. So yeah, it's kind of a silent thing I think people aren't quite aware of.
You're right. You're right. Okay, I hadn't thought about that. But I have to say, the other tips that you've given, should some of that be kind of common sense? I mean, I think that, that blue light from the phone or that blue light from the television, I always assume that that's going to hinder my quality of sleep. Do we have any, I don't know, a gauge, like cut that out about 3 hours or 2 hours before you need to go to sleep? Is there a gauge?
Yeah, I think there's some general advice. I think, it is common knowledge that screen's disrupting sleep. What's not common knowledge is the extent at which it's disrupting the quality of that sleep. So I think a lot of people think, well, I can check my phone, I have no problem falling asleep, but the sleep quality is compromised. So the best thing to do is if you could try to cut it out an hour before sleep, that's probably going to give you sort of the best bang for the buck, so to speak.
Oh, that's a fantastic tip. I think, I think that's helpful for us because again, we're all kind of attached to it, right, to some extent, and we just don't know how much it may be a problem in terms of us getting the quality rest that we need.
Well, yes, I think, some of the long-term health impacts of doing this on a day-to-day basis is, disrupting that sleep. It can lead, increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease. It impacts your mood, depression, and even has a connection to obesity. There's a great study out there that showed people who are sleep deprived, they gravitate towards fattier and sugar foods. So cleaning up that sleep hygiene might even help you lose that last couple pounds.
Oh my goodness. Now that is fantastic information. I think that, we make assumptions about, or we categorize things, right? We don't necessarily make the connection about, how those things are really affecting our overall health in terms of, what we're eating and how we're metabolizing it and how it's going into our body. It's super helpful to have that type of information. Is there a place that we could go for those kind of tips, maybe a website?
Yeah, we've got more wellness tips at our website, Herbalife.com.
Oh, excellent. Can we close out with one thing that, I want our viewers to try tonight to get better sleep? What would that one thing be if you had to give someone a tip?
I'd say, that phone is probably the biggest. So trying to read a book. Another good one would be, relaxation technique. Even just some slow, simple, rhythmic breathing in the evening will help tremendously.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the tips and thanks for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Of course, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, when the doctor says it sounds completely doable, right? It sounds like something that we can make happen. Well, these are all tips that each of us can put into our, put into that routine to get a little better rest. Take the opportunity to visit the website and learn more. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this segment. We'll be right back.